Hello everyone, welcome again to the 30 Days of Confidence. Today I have a special guest and a friend, and she will join us shortly. This project is meant for, or the focus of this project is to provide tips and guidance to the audience. Stems from the guests' experiences, professional and personal. And these lives are not meant for professional or medical help. It's meant for general info only. So I'm gonna invite my friend now. Um, and hopefully she's gonna join us soon. Okay. So while she's coming up, hey,
Hi,
hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Rabab?
Good to see you.
Good to see you
So
too.
before introducing you, I want to say that Deb is a long time friend. How many years, Deb? Like 9, 10 years?
I I think so. Yeah, because we started. When did we graduate? We graduated in 2010, so probably 2000 and what, like 7 or 8. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think we're like
10
in
years
internship
probably.
2009. So this is like, yeah, this is like
Yeah,
10 years.
yeah,
10 years.
yeah.
Yeah, Lenis was a little
Long time.
girl, long time. So yeah, this is my friend actually. My very deep friend. So Deborah Pelberg, she's an MFT. She's a couple and family therapist here in Pennsylvania. She helps couples and families in their transitions. So I'm gonna turn it to you to tell me more about what you do and your career and how all of that evolved.
Okay. So I have been working in the field for about 6 years now. The first 5, I had the privilege of working at a place called the Center for Families and Relationships in the Northeast.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, and it's a wonderful place filled with wonderful clinicians and people, very skilled and talented.
Yes.
Um, so I learned a lot
Uh-huh.
there. So if you are near the Northeast, please, please call them and get in touch with them because they're wonderful. And then for the last year, I've had the privilege of working at the Horsham Clinic in their adult partial program, and been a very um, cool and grown as a clinician so much. I've enjoyed my experience there very much. Yeah, and then I'm starting a new private practice in September. Beginning of
Wow.
September.
That's
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So it is
It's
exciting.
very exciting.
It's the Yeah. So I'll be on my own for the first time, and yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being able to serve people in the Erdenheim community and the surrounding area, to do some couples and family and individual work with them. So
That's
I'm
very
excited.
exciting.
Yeah.
So you focus your work on families and couples.
Yeah. I mean, generally, yeah, I do individual work as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you
I
work
do a
with
lot of it.
children?
I do have children.
I know you
You know,
have
I have
two beautiful girls.
I I have a yeah. It's funny because in the questions that you sent me, um, the the one question was about like interests and hobbies, and I kind of laughed because I said, well, my interests and hobbies are those of a 4 and a 6-year-old girl.
Absolutely.
So whatever 4 and 6-year-old girls are into, that's pretty much what I'm doing.
That sounds what you do every day, all day.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
been there before. Well, I have only one, and she's now a grown woman. But still,
Yeah,
I mean, I still remember those days. But even when they get older, you are invested, but in a different way.
yeah,
It's like when they come from school in the summer, you want to spend as much time possible because they are grown now and they have their own life, and So you just have to take advantage of whatever time is given to you.
Yeah, I can't even, like, I'm trying to, like, I think my husband and I are both thinking, like, just stay here now.
Mhm.
Don't think about what the future yet. But like I do, once in a while I'll go there and I'll, whoo, oh my gosh, it's gonna.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
So, to the audience, again, I am interviewing my friend and clinician, Deborah Pelberg. She is a couple and family therapist here in Pennsylvania. Please like this video, share it. So I have, and put the comments and the question in the comment section. Someone is actually watching us from Indonesia, Aaron.
Oh,
And
wow.
my sister Jumana is watching us from Jordan. So, hi, Jumana. So that's amazing. See, so
That's
this is a
so
global.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we are being watched from globally.
We're international.
Globally,
Ooh.
absolutely. That this is wonderful.
Yeah.
So so tell me more about your work with couples and families, and what does interest you most with that work?
I think that right now, we see a lot of, because of what's happening with the economy and with young people today, sort of the trend of sort of staying in the home past, past that graduation from high school, graduation from college, even if they go into the workforce, kind of having to stay in the parental home, and how confusing, even when they graduate from high school and they are in college, seeing how confusing and different that relationship really changes between the parents and the children.
Yes.
And it has to, you know, but the boundaries become like hard to navigate, I think, for both parties, because I think that, us as parents, we want to still be there for them, be able to be hands-on and help them, but they're more like, no, I want you to help when I need your help, but I also need you to, like, back off. So it's hard to navigate those waters.
Absolutely.
And I think yeah,
You just have to
and
like strike a balance, if you will,
yeah, and I think that it's really even harder because of what the climate is with the economy, and them not being able to really afford to leave the home as early.
Yes.
So that's really hard on both
Both
parties. And I
parties.
think
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so I found that a lot of my work at Horsham, believe it or not, has been, some of that has been, kind of navigating those boundaries and navigating the wants and needs of both the parents and the children, and kind of trying to figure out the balance of that.
Amazing.
And that's been really cool to get involved in that particular population. And I could see a need there. And especially when you see parents and children who love each other so much and are really trying to make sure the other one is not upset with them, or they're trying to come together, but at the same time they want their space and their own.
Yeah. So it's a balance between love and connection, and also
Yeah.
having your own individual space, and you know, not to be enmeshed, if you will. It's like you have
Right.
these boundaries, at the same time you have the to keep the connection going. So that balance can be a challenge for people sometimes. I see Najwa Amin is joining us. Fatma Omar is joining us. Thank you for joining. If you have any question, put it in the comments. And again, I am interviewing my friend and clinician, Deborah Pelberg. So the theme for this project is confidence. And I talked about this like confidence issue throughout the interviews. About maybe sometimes we talk about it from an individual perspective, but since you are a couple and family therapist, how can we look at this confidence from a family perspective, from collective perspective, if you will, from a couple perspective? Like sometimes when we are in a relationship, we lose ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
how can we really strike that balance and have that confidence, when
Yeah.
you are in a relationship, not only just you're on your own? It's actually really
Yeah.
more difficult, isn't it so?
It is. It is more difficult.
Yeah.
I think because you have to take into consideration, another person or multiple people. If you have children or have a family, it's hard. I think that because having confidence and um, instilling confidence in someone means that we need to, as clinicians, sort of get them to really focus on themselves, right? And get to know themselves really well, what their beliefs are, values are as individuals. So when you kind of combine that into a couple's situation or a family situation, I think that each individual person, they do have their own beliefs and their own values. So finding, um, kind of finding the, I guess, boundary between each person, and getting each person to respect the other person's beliefs or the other person's values that might be different than their own, is part of the work there. And that, also, if you think about, also our mission to bring some self-awareness, some insight into people's thoughts and behaviors. The same thing goes for couples and families. Want to try to help them gain insight and become aware of how they're behaving towards each other, how they're thinking, how they're reacting to one another. And so, in building confidence, right? So you need confidence to have confidence. You want to build confidence before you build
confidence.
Right. Exactly. So you want to feel confident in communicating with everyone, and in your family, in your couple relationship. So, building that feeling of competency in communication with others helps build confidence in being able to be vulnerable and open with other people that are close to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think add to that sometimes the culture, whatever cultural orientation and the background, that adds layer to it. Whether you are from an individualistic orientation or collectivistic orientation, if you will, that can add a spin to the work we do. In terms of what's the background of the particular family you are working with, and of course, we meet our clients where they are at. So we need to explore these values and how we can integrate that into our work, if you will, in terms of dealing with this particular family, this or that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Yeah. And I think that, as clinicians, I think that we model that. So if you think about, even with someone that's of a different culture than you, modeling that you, as a therapist, respect their values and beliefs, even if they're different from your own. You can then model for those members of the family or members of the couple that, look, like, I can be open to respecting this, even though I disagree, or I may disagree, or I don't know it, or I don't understand.
Yeah, just different,
right?
Yeah.
Right. Because really, in couples and families, a lot of the times they will just blatantly disagree with values of someone. So modeling that, even if you disagree, you can still hold someone with respect and care.
Absolutely. As therapists, we see all people from all walks of life. From different religions, background, ethnicities. So it's just a matter of meeting the client where they are at in terms of their culture and belief, and hold them accountable for these values that they claim they are, or they know they are following, because we all have values, and we say that we are following that, but then we see, the actions or whatever outcome is not really following that. And this is our job, to really steer the client towards that.
Yes.
So one of the questions here, if we talk about how do you see couples or families undermine confidence or wellness in their interactions from your own practice, what examples come to mind?
I would think that, it's again kind of mirrors the individuals in ways. I would say, like, my big thing, I think, and probably yours as well, and probably a lot of people's, Facebook and Instagram and all of these things are wonderful tools or wonderful ways to keep in touch and that kind of thing. But it can also, be something that undermines confidence, in the fact that sometimes we end up comparing ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right. And with couples, I see that happen kind of often with looking at other couples, on Facebook or Instagram and how they present themselves, and other families and how they present themselves, keeping in mind that, what we're seeing is obviously I'm not showing, my
entire
myself
life.
Right. I'm not showing myself after a bad day at work. I'm not showing my child having a tantrum. I'm not showing me having a tantrum. Like, I'm showing my vacations and,
the best image, the best.
Right. The fun, the highlight.
Yes, the highlight. Yeah.
So, I see a lot of, comparing, and how much damage that does to one's confidence and self-esteem, and how that needs to, thinking around it, may need to be worked on at times if that's something that you do. I think that also, in couples and families, I think that undermining confidence comes when they blame each other for their kind of behavior, not taking responsibility for behavior in couples and families. I see that can really sort of erode, as individuals, that can erode confidence. You think it's kind of the opposite, because you think like, okay, well, I'm able to put a mistake onto someone else so that I can look good,
Yes.
But that actually ends up undermining confidence.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, one of the speakers talked about before about an author, Christine Neff, and she talked about comparing ourselves with ourselves instead of comparing ourselves with others.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
I know. And if we could only, because think about how, if you can think about yourself like, 5 years ago compared to today, and look at like the growth that you've experienced, because that's really like, it's perfect. It's progress over perfection. Like, you don't need to be comparing yourself to anyone else.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Because everyone has their own story,
Mm-hmm.
We can't really compare ourselves to someone else, because the story is unique. Each story is unique. So we're doing ourselves a disservice, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Yes, I agree.
So again, I'm interviewing my friend and colleague, Deborah Pelberg, and she's a clinician, MFT and MA, couples and family therapist in Pennsylvania. If you have any questions and comments, please put it in the comment section, and I will direct them to the guest. Saba Maruf Hamzawi is actually joining us. Hey, Saba. So I see a lot of people are joining us, speakers from previous interviews. So that's very exciting. So I'm so happy to have you, Deborah.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, Bob.
Long time no see, my friend.
And it's like a new experience for me. You've been doing this for like, what, 20 days or something? You've been doing this for...
Yeah, I didn't do it every day, but like I skipped a couple of days in between. But yeah, 23 days. So it's like
a lot of days.
A lot of days.
Yeah.
We still have
like
7 or 8.
Like an old... Yeah.
So thank you for joining me, for taking the opportunity, for giving me the opportunity to be with you. So so how do you think, I know we talked about comparing ourselves with ourselves, not to compare what else can we do to work on our confidence in a relationship?
I think that thinking about, I guess, really knowing what your beliefs are about yourself, knowing what, because if we think about and what our thoughts are, so like paying attention to our thoughts is one thing. I think that a lot of the time that we sort of go around and we always have that inner voice going, right? We always have that inner voice going. And we are some of our experiences and our genetics. And we always sort of have this inner voice going. So sometimes I think that people, we forget to kind of think about what we're saying to ourselves and pay attention to what we're saying to ourselves. And I think that in paying attention to what we're saying to ourselves, we can then kind of think about being able to challenge those things if they're, not correct, right? If they're not, if there's something that is bringing, that is not helpful for us. And so challenging those thoughts will make us in every relationship less reactive, right? So the sort of goal is to be able to hear each other in a couple or in a family. The goal is to be able to communicate and be able to hear one another. And in order to do that, I think that you have to make sure that you're able to kind of know what your beliefs are about yourself and what your beliefs are about your relationship with this person and your beliefs about them. And, whether or not they're accurate.
Yeah, it's like put yourself in check, if you will. And
yeah,
in terms of be able to communicate those feelings without reactivity, maybe being
right.
proactive, or maybe being just objective about, and like you said before, having these boundaries between self and being me as an individual and me as a couple and me as in a family. And this can be challenging,
So challenging. Oh my gosh. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still working on that. But
We're all,
I think we're all working on it.
Absolutely. It's like a long life journey, It's
exactly.
Because we keep discovering things about ourselves. And each stage of our life brings more challenges or different insights. So what worked when we were in our 20s won't work when we were in our 30s or 40s. You know what I mean? It's like you're a different person and evolving, continuously evolving. And when you are a mother of like a 6 and 7, like you are, it's different. They become 16 and 17, and then when they are in their 20s, so you will see a different mom, a different self, as you know very well. And that poses more challenges.
Yeah, it does, because then you have to. So one of the things that I am, I think, more mindful of as a parent is how I model confidence for them.
Mm-hmm.
How I model how I feel about myself to them, what I believe about myself, because confidence is really about beliefs, right? What you believe,
your mindset,
right? What you believe you can do or achieve or be or feel or handle. And so I have to like really, and I think as parents, we have that sort of, it's, I don't know if I want to call it pressure, because I feel like it can be pressure sometimes, but I feel like it also can be a growth experience.
Absolutely.
For us.
Absolutely.
To kind of push ourselves to kind of really re-examine how we feel and what we believe about ourselves, so that we can model for our children, how to go out into the world and be confident in ourselves and our abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was studying for screen-free parenting, they kept talking about that parenting is about ourselves, not about our children. It's about disciplining ourselves. It's kind of like in the beginning, oh my God, what are you talking about? But yeah, it's about how we handle ourselves when we are like down to the wire. We are like, we are just so stressed out. Everything is really stressing us out. The work, home, bills, money, just name it. And then he or she's coming and whining, so how are we going to react to that, and how we can really model that I'm really, collected and I'm not reactive. So this is like continuous a challenge and a growth for us parents before them as children.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That's something that we continuously like at that reactivity and that ability to kind of stay, there's like a Facebook quote or something that said, we want to be their calm, not their chaos.
Absolutely.
That is something that I sort of keep drilling that. Keep drilling that.
Yeah, I think it's a journey.
So hard.
It's a journey, because I mean, you want to say that, oh, I've been there before, I know it, blah blah blah, but no, it's their life, their experience. You want to provide the advice or the opinion, and then step back and hold your tongue, because because it's their life, and they need to experience whatever they want to experience. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so again, to the audience, I have the pleasure of interviewing my friend, Deborah Pelberg. She's MFT, couple and family therapist in Pennsylvania, and she helps families and people in their transition periods, in their life transitions. So, share this video. She is providing informative information, really good information. So share it, like it, and if you have questions, please put them in the comment section, and I will be happy to address them. And thank you for all people who are watching from all over the world. So, so do you have any like a success story, like something like will give us like this? We all have all kind of stories. It's like, I know we will keep our clients' confidentiality, but some stories sometimes stand out.
Yeah.
Do you remember like a story that really a success story that stood out for you?
Yeah, I actually was thinking about this, and I was thinking about there's a client that I saw for a few years, and she had a very traumatic childhood. Really something that could have taken anyone down, and she had incredible amounts of anxiety, which made sense for what she had been through in her life. And I sat with her for a few years and watched her, her ability to start to, and I think she didn't even notice it, I think, most of the time. Like, she, inch by inch, she had actually kind of secluded herself to a room in her house, basically. Like, that was where she felt safe, because she's had such a traumatic background. She lived in, a dangerous neighborhood. It was in danger for different reasons, a bunch of different reasons in that neighborhood as well. And she was not connected to her daughter, who she really wanted to be connected to. Yeah. And we worked for years to kind of, little by little, she would do things and say things, and her world, because I think that when we don't feel safe, and we don't feel like we don't know ourselves very well, that our world becomes very small. Like, and when you suffer with anxiety and depression, you're really in that trench, and PTSD, I feel like your world becomes very, very small, and her world was really this room and her dog. And I got to watch her little by little open up and just expand her world.
Wow.
And just her, even in her mind, she would start to think of different possibilities. Like, I could move here, or I could move here, or I could sell the house. Maybe I should talk to this person. And all of a sudden, it was small little changes. And I think that when it goes that slow, some people don't have a sense of the progress that they're making. And it was so much progress. And I actually didn't get to finish with her in therapy. Yeah. I had to hand her off to a colleague. And the colleague had told me the last time that I talked to her that this woman had reconnected with her daughter, and she had moved out of her neighborhood into a different place with her daughter.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was I mean, the fact that, I mean, she would do like little things that you could see all of a sudden her feeling of competence and confidence to do these small things led to more things, and then led to bigger things. And the fact that she was able to move and reconnect with her daughter, become vulnerable again with her daughter, I mean, the courage that took for her was, it was amazing. When I heard it, I almost cried.
Yes.
That she was able to move.
Wow,
And,
it's amazing.
and it was amazing, and it took a long time.
Yeah,
but it happened, you know.
sometimes we need, I mean, sometimes we forget to celebrate the incremental progress, like these small changes that we make, because we have the goal so big in front of us, and we just want to reach that goal, and we forget to celebrate this little by little, these small steps that we achieve and we make, and we just ignore it. And you keep thinking, oh my God, the goal is really far, but it's not, because it was 100, for instance, and now it's a 99 or 98. So there is this progress that we need to celebrate, and you know, be confident that we will be able to continue. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how
And
about, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was saying, and when you have been, you know, especially when there's trauma involved, you know, it's been this like, you know, long, the fact that it only took her a few years to be able to, you know, do the things that she's doing. I mean, it was like 20 years of 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 what was happening to her before. So, I mean, to be able to, in a few years, just overcome so much, you know, we forget how long, you know, if you suffered from trauma, you forget how long you were in that, or you forget how long it took you to get, you know, into that deep well of depression. So it's going to take a little time to get out. But, you know, yes, you make those little incremental changes, and it gives you the confidence to keep going.
Absolutely.
And it's nice as a therapist to be able to point it out.
Yeah.
You know? It's like to be able to say, look what you're doing.
Yeah. It's such a joy. It makes it worth it after all, you know? It's like, you know, when you have this good session, like someone really did some progress, and you feel like, oh my God, you leave and you're like, wow, so happy. Like something really great happened. That's amazing. So how about in the other side, like a challenging story, and someone who are unable to really get out of their stuckness, if you will, and what is it that caused that, in your opinion? Why do you think some people cannot really get past their stuckness or the situation?
I mean, I think that, you know, I've seen a few people in, you know, abusive relationships. And so I can recall one woman who, you know, had a lot of trauma as a child, and then, you know, had that kind of come up again as an adult, and really just her beliefs about herself were so negative and so entrenched, that it was really hard to get her to see any other viewpoint. And unfortunately, because of being in an abusive relationship, it was like, you know, I was a positive voice, and you know, other therapists that had worked with her were positive voices, but it didn't overshadow all of sort of the people around her that were, you know, sort of giving her the negative side. So she really, it was very difficult, because I think that, you know, the patterns and the cycles that went on in her life just kept continuing, and being in that relationship was kind of continuing the pattern, and it was just too hard for her, I think, to break out of it. So I think, you know, that for me was like a really heartbreaking, challenging story that, you know, I remember feeling, you know, at times like, I don't, you know, they would break up, and I remember being like,
oh,
yeah. Yeah. And she would start to like start to think a little differently, and and it would just,
and they would go back again. It's like a
and then
cycle.
go back. Yeah, it was a cycle,
It's a cycle.
and it was their cycle, and it was their dance. They're a couple, so it was their dance, back and forth, back and forth. But it was painful to watch her in that much pain, and then be okay, and then
Keep going.
and start to make, and then go back.
Absolutely.
So that was a difficult case for me.
Yeah.
And then really resolved.
Yeah.
So
what is it, do you think, that from your opinion, that we can do as an individuals, alone, as an individuals, or as in a relationship, that we can do, the one thing that we can do to really boost our confidence, but not only just to boost it, to continuously be confident? It's not like we don't want it just to be like a spur of the moment and then it goes. How can we keep it like steady, if you will?
Right. I mean, I think that if you think about really being aware again of your beliefs, your values, and really keep working on trying to figure out what those are, and positive self-talk is huge. Yes. I mean, really honestly challenging those thoughts and those beliefs that, as I said before, we all have an inner voice, and some of us have more critical inner voices than others, for various reasons. And I think that the biggest thing, for those people that feel that they can hear their little inner critic really banging away up there, is that challenging those thoughts, and really, making sure that you're being aware of what you're saying to yourself, because that, I think, is the biggest confidence killer. Yes. Is what you say to yourself, because we all make mistakes, we all fail.
Absolutely.
The human condition, we are all flawed. So we are never perfect. So no matter how much we strive to be, it's just not going to happen. No. So I think it's really important to recognize that we're all fallible, and that we all make mistakes, and that, I see time after time people just beating themselves to death over a small mistake or a big mistake or whatever, and I can see how much that causes them even more pain. It does cause us so much more pain if we do that to ourselves. So really monitoring those thoughts and being able to challenge them and start to kind of put in some reframing them into more positive talk if we can.
Absolutely. If we are unable to do it on our own, we want to seek like a therapist, a counselor, a coach, whatever it is. Well, coaching is different than therapy, of course, because coaching, therapy has the clinical aspect of it. But someone in your life that can hold you accountable, because sometimes we need that push, or that cheerleader, or someone who can really hold you accountable for what you have committed to do and you're not doing, or maybe not doing enough, if you will. I think it's important to recognize, and it's okay to seek that. Yeah. Because you are actually saving yourself time, energy, suffering, and pain.
Yes.
And that applies to all of us. All of everyone, including therapists. It's like we all need therapy. We all need we all need to grow and to find what is it that we need to work on to keep going. So so tell me, what your professional plans, future plans? You did say that you want to open your private practice, and that's very exciting. Yeah. So you're gonna have it close by to your place now, or where are you gonna have that place, the private?
Well, it's an Erdenheim.
Okay.
So yeah,
it's gonna be in the same place. Okay.
Yeah. And it's gonna be I'm doing like Sunday hours right now, Darnell's, because I'm at Horsham.
Yes.
So I am gonna do that, and Yeah.
I
I'm
find
excited.
Sunday hours are really helpful. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
weekend in general. Like I have in my practice, I have my weekend is not the weekend. I create my
Right.
own weekend.
Right.
Like people go to work on Monday. I start my weekend on Monday.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Rabab's out
I'm going to.
on Monday.
So this is my weekend. So have a nice weekend on Monday. So
Right.
especially Monday during the day, Tuesday, whatever. But also, the good thing about private practice, you can create your own weekend every week. So you can just create your own schedule. One day you can have a weekend, or maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, or other week that can. It's like you are not bound by a certain time. But I did find that Saturday and Sunday, especially Sunday, can be very helpful to clients because it's like it's like the roads are clear. They can come in, no traffic. It's like I see people are more like enthusiastic to come in than other hectic days. Well,
Yeah.
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 I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping I can, serve a few people on Sunday. Um, I would love. I'm hoping that that will, be a good day.
Yes. Yes.
People.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm looking.
so how can people reach you?
So I have a phone number,
Mm-hmm.
so I can provide that. It's 215 995 4139. You can reach me there. And just you can leave a message because it will probably go to voicemail, and I will give you a call back. Or you can reach me by email, that too. It's Deborah Pelberg at gmail.com. My name is probably spelled somewhere in this ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's Deborah Pelberg, all one word, at gmail.com. So please contact me if you're interested in.
So maybe after this live, if you kindly can go back to the live and put the number and the email in the comment section, so people can just have easy access to your information. So at the end of the interview, what final thoughts do you have for the audience?
Well, this was lovely.
I'm enjoying it.
I thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. That was fun, huh? That was fun.
It was. I was very nervous for it, but this was enjoyable. I feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that, I really I think that my biggest sort of take home message is that, we to just be aware. I think awareness is the key. I think awareness of our thoughts and what we're thinking, and that thoughts are not facts, that we have to kind of make sure that we're paying attention to those, and that we know who we are, and if you can find a skilled clinician that can sort of help you explore who you are, what you value, what your beliefs are about yourself, about your relationship, about your mom, your dad, your husband, your wife, your kids, I think that it helps build confidence to be more vulnerable, to be able to build your confidence in your ability to communicate with other people, your ability to achieve what you want to achieve, and get that support that you need as well.
Absolutely.
Because everybody needs support.
Absolutely.
We all need somebody to we all need help.
Yes. So I think it's a matter of pausing and reflecting. Yeah. And you talked about vulnerability. I did start a group called Authenticity and Vulnerability. I think it's important to have on Facebook. So I think it's important to have both and to portray both. So we are ourselves, with ourselves and with others, if you will.
Yes.
So
that's great.
Yeah. So I'm looking here at the comments. I see a lot of people who were with us. Thank you for the audience for watching us. Now Lamis is watching also.
Hi, Lamis.
Hey, and Kashmir is watching us. Hey, Kashmir. So a lot. Yahya is watching us. Sabah is watching. So there are a lot of people watching. Thank you all for taking the time, and thank you, Deb, for
Thank you.
sharing with us your valuable experiences. And so if you wanna reach Deborah, she will put her information in the comment section via phone and via Gmail. You can reach me also through my website via my all. I'm gonna download this video. It's gonna be on YouTube, so I'm gonna put the link. Yes, so I'm gonna put the link on the comment section, so you can watch it and subscribe to the channel. I would have my information, my website. You can. There's a link for Speak with Rabab also. And I want to thank you all for watching us. Thank you so much. This was fun. I really enjoyed it.
It was.
And very very helpful. Thank you. And until next time, I have another live on Saturday. So be there and to watch us. And for Deborah, until next time, we need to do more of that together in the future.
Yes,
we need to have more fun, and we need to really portray that love and that connection, to the rest of the world, So it's like how long we haven't seen each other, but we're still, whenever we talk, whenever it's like it was just yesterday. That's amazing. That's really amazing. I'm so thrilled to have you as my friend and colleague. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. And say hello to your daughters. Beautiful, beautiful daughters.
I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, and thank you everyone. See you next time. Good night. Thank you.
Rabab.
Thank you. Bye-bye.